for crying out fucking loud. What a load of rubbish that was. And losing to those carrot crunching pricks on top. Yes, it was Cardiff City 0, Bristol City 1. And while I'll try and calm down, guys, here's the action courtesy of Cardiff City TV.
No stop! Go! Oh. Run on!
Now, before I go any further, in my opinion, that goal summed up Cardiff's season so far. Absolute piss poor. The defending was poor, the midfield were ball watching, which allowed the runners to come through and get because of a free space. And as it was scored in the second minute of the game, the Bluebirds failed to make the most of the remaining time of the game. They couldn't score during the remaining 88 minutes plus injury time. And with awful finishing like that, I bet they still wouldn't be able to score if the game was still being played right now. Now, Neil Harris was a waste of time and wages when he was Cardiff City player during his loan spell from Millwall and Lenny Lawrence's reign. People who remember back then will know that he only ever wore the Bluebird shirt 3 times. Because he just wasn't good enough. Now he comes back as manager. And he wasn't good enough at his previous job, Millwall. You only have to go back, go watch Lions TV and go back on their old videos to know that the fans ran out of patience with him and his boring tactics and boring football. But yet, the twat of the owner, Vincent Tan, with his superior football knowledge, thinks that despite all that, all his poor record at Millwall, despite all that, he was good enough to be offered the Cardiff City job. However, personally, I'm just convinced the only reason he was offered a job in the first place was because many of the other candidates, which were mentioned at the time, were already in jobs. So it would have been more costly for Cardiff to buy them out of their contracts. It was a cheap option. Now, once again, courtesy of Cardiff City TV, These are the manager's post-match reaction. Take a look.
Rights for a fan base that can't be here. It's fine me saying it was a strong performance and they've seen a strong performance, but we've not won the game. The players, some of the players need a rest. Played a lot of football, 7 games, 19 days. We need the break. Have to recharge the batteries. If not, we'll end up picking up injuries. So, be a couple of days off for the players, but it also gives us a chance to get on the training pitch. We've not had any time on the training pitch to keep improving. So we'll have an opportunity to do that, and obviously try and nurse a couple of players a little bit closer to fitness as well.
The goal was real quality. That's how we want to play, and then they're throwing balls into our box with so much quality. Wilson, Rolls, and they've got big target men who were probably up there and the best in the division. So we had to be resolute. We had to fight for everything, and I'm just so proud of the performance.
And I think second half was a little bit bitty at times, just because Bristol City managed the game and broke the game up, and the referee didn't help us with the decisions he made. However, the performance itself was very strong. So performance-wise was very good. Barnsley performance was very good, and the second half against QPR was excellent. So 2.5 performance is very, very good, but we've only picked 3 points up, and ultimately people look at results first and go, it's not good enough. I agree, we should have better points, but the performances are improving massively, and we will win game after game when we stop making slight stupid errors, or getting punished for slightest error, I should say. But then we find that ruthless nature, and that's the whole team's got to find that ruthless nature.
Now, during our post-match interview, Harris stated that he was pleased with the performances during the last 2.5 games. But what he doesn't admit is that, or recognise, let's be honest, is that the opposition during those 2.5 games were average at best. QPR, average. Barnsley, poor. Bristol City, average. And yet, we've only got 3 points out of those games. Cardiff City is supposed to be one of the bigger teams in the Championship who is still in receipt of Premier League parachute payments. Yet, in my opinion, the team's setup, tactics and mindset of the players is one of relegation fodder. And I'm sick of it. Now, before people go on, I'd like to make clear that I accept losing games as part and parcel of football. But what I do not accept is that some players still being picked are stealing a living as professional footballers. Bakuna, Pack, Bennett, Rose are just not good enough. It's just not good enough. After the game, I've been looking at forums and chat rooms, and some of the older boys were saying, for people who mourned about tonight's game, you need to watch Cardiff in the 80s and 90s as the club were in, what was then Division 3 and Division 4. Well, let me put this on record. I was also there during those times. I also lost my freedom for 3 years of my life due to situations I come across while watching my team. But the difference between then and now is that in these days the players are so big-headed twats who live in a bubble and earn shitloads of money off the back of blind supporters who, let's be honest, are more fanboys than supporters. You cannot compare it to back in those days. Back in those days, the players would earn 500 quid a week if they were lucky. They'd be chilling out in a local boozer with fans and would have the common decency to, if they pass you in the street, to say hello. Anyway, I'm off to get drunk after watching that. If you like what I do, please share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free. I must state that. And let's be honest, we all love something which is free. So until next time, make sure you love your people, because in return, you people will love you. Take care. Roll on next week.